What's up guys, welcome back to another video, hope you're all doing well today, and welcome to my first ever elimination race in MX Bikes. This was one that was hosted by Reaper Doc as part of his 12-hour live stream, and hats off to him by the way. I think he managed to go the full 12 hours. Really good stream. I hopped in a few times. Now, a little backstory to this. I was looking for content to record just around the time that this was happening, and I saw the server up, saw the server was fully, like almost fulfilled completely. I saw that it was on 125, so I thought, well, you know what, let's hop on the Yami 125, show it a bit of love, and go and do a race. Little did I know that it was an elimination race. I had no idea until I got in there. And hats off to him as well, to be fair. They was already 2 rounds deep, and they reset it just to let me in. So thank you very much. There's me using my YouTube privilege to get those little advantages. There was a handful of good people in here. There's like really fast people. Keegan was in here, Dylan was in here, who just saw going absolutely flying past me. Hells was in here under a alt name. It was like tutorial on how to fast, I think his name was, something like that. But they was all on the fast bikes. They was all on the Huskies or the KTMs or the Gas. And there's me on little old blue bike. And I didn't realise just how bloody slow this thing was until I got on some of these straights. In the corners, for the most part, you can kind of hold your own because there's a limit to how fast you can hit turns. But on some of these long straights, like Dylan and Hurls, they just absolutely leave me for dead. So it was a very difficult one. Absolutely destroyed Dylan there unintentionally, but you know what, we take those. It's an elimination race. I heard that people that aren't subscribed to the channel actually hate animals. I mean, look at that cute little face. How can you not press the subscribe button after looking at that? Go on, just press it. Only takes 1 click. Don't do it now. Thank you very much. Enjoy. I have to say, this was a really bloody fun event. Like, having never done one before on bikes and having only done them on a mix simulator, it's so nice being able to do it on bikes because you can actually, well, unless the Caboso Netcode says otherwise, you can actually get near people and kind of rub against them a bit before you just topple over and die. So unless it's someone that's got like stupidly high ping and you get flung halfway across the map, it's actually really fun battling with people on this game. Although I was having a lot of trouble around, I don't know if it was the track or, I mean, the track was so beat up. They'd been doing a little bit of practicing beforehand, and you can see how deep the ruts are in some of the corners. The track, as of fresh, it's almost flat. It's got some suggestions of ruts on the inside, but nothing like what we've seen here. And there was actually some death holes appearing in like the second half or so of the elims, which you had to kind of dodge and switch your lines up. So it was all good fun. I am a big advocate of tracks making you change your lines. Unfortunately, sometimes they do it for the wrong reasons because they just get death holes that your bike will just implode on. But either way, I'll take it. It's good fun. And I've got a Reaper right behind me here. Throw a little taunt in the air, get myself on stream, and then he absolutely wads himself. I'll quickly check back on the stream after this round ended, and apparently he said he was going to try punting me. So that's all fun and games when it comes to elims. Absolutely god-awful start in this second round here. Just trying to work out how to start on a 2-stroke with like the 120 rear tyre on it. It's a little bit difficult sometimes because they're too slow just to pull away without the clutch. They try backflipping when you do use the clutch, and it was kind of one of the things that I slowly got better at as the rounds progressed. Usually, if this was a sim elim, I would have on screen like how many people go out at what round or what place you need to be in. I genuinely didn't know what the case was the whole way through. Just because it wasn't like a fully set up scripted thing. Like Reaper was just manually ejecting people when they come in last or second to last, and I'm pretty sure it was like 3 or so elims for the first few rounds, 2 people being eliminated for the next few, and then going down to 1 in the back end of it all. But the whole way through, I'm not sure if it's just because I was on the Yam and it was underpowered, or if people just all seem to really enjoy riding the 2-strokes, but the racing was so close. There was always battles going on. There was mostly clean battles. Every now and then someone might get a little bit out of control and cross over and completely take you out, but I'll cut them a little bit of slack. I know a lot of the time the lines that I take aren't particularly choices, it's just what happens. But it's really good fun, and I would definitely recommend, if Reaper does do another stream, to get more going. I might need to try and slide in his DMs a little bit and ask exactly how he goes about running them so I can get one going myself. Because at the point of me recording this, I'm planning on live streaming tonight, which is... Oh, it's actually New Year's Day. It's the 1st of January. You're probably seeing this around the 3rd or the 4th or so. I'm doing pretty well so far in terms of YouTube, just in terms of how many videos I've got pre-recorded and going up. And you guys seem to be really enjoying what I've been putting out. I'm trying to mix things up a little bit more, both in terms of video style and video editing. I'll get back to that in a second. I took a screenshot in between this round and the first one, so then I didn't have my map or my speed on, so as soon as the gate drops, oh crap, let me quickly put that back on. So started on the back foot in this race, but you can see everyone already wipes themselves out in the first 1 or 2 corners, so usually it's not too bad getting back into a transfer spot. And I mean, with the elimination races, you haven't got to win every round, you just haven't got to get like the last few, and I feel like that's a lot easier than trying to push really hard to win and killing yourself and then ending up right at the back. But yeah, I've tried to change that. Also, didn't know if that was a cut from the guy on the left. I'm not sure if he got catapulted over there or if he just took a straight line from the corner over on the left hand side, but either way I was like, what on earth has just happened there? I've tried changing the video style up a little bit recently, just in terms of not really doing everything as like a one take anymore. Usually if I'm just going through a track, or even if it's an online race, I'll usually just leave it from start to finish without much in the way of editing. But I'm going to try and cut out more of like the dead space bits, and even if it means recording for a little bit longer than usual to fill up that same kind of length of video, I feel like it kind of keeps the viewer retention a bit higher, keeps you guys a bit more interested because you're always getting the exciting bits going on. And the same in this video, I tried cutting out all of the bits where I was just riding around by myself and really kept in the battles, or just if I was even on track around other people, because it's got to be so much more interesting watching online races compared to me just in testing all the time. And that is a comment I've had quite a lot, asking me to race online more. The only difficulty I find sometimes is because of me being in the UK and this being a predominantly US game. I mean, 80% or so of my YouTube viewers are from the US, so if that doesn't tell you that's the case, I don't know what will. It can be quite difficult for me to find good lobbies sometimes on tracks that aren't Farm or Winchester or Widowmaker and all the same ones over and over again. But good news, I suppose this could be a little bit of a plug actually, it might even be done by now. I might announce it as a community post. I'm finally pulling my finger out and trying to get this Discord server all sorted. Today I'm working with Smigdamp, who is a loyal subscriber, a very nice guy by the way. He's helping me getting it all set up and running, and the reason that the reason I want it to be up and running is because I'm working on memberships at the same time, and one of the perks at one of the levels is purely going to be you get a special role in the Discord where I can advertise lobbies for recording and stuff, so you can be in videos and so on and so forth. And I think it's just a nice way of, it's not even like giving back to you guys, but just acknowledging some of you and getting you into some videos, especially those of you that have been around for a really long time. So if they haven't happened already yet, keep an eye out. It'll probably be within the next week or so from whenever this video goes live, of both the Discord being released and the memberships being released. And yeah, big massive thank you again for Doc for really kind of pushing me to do it, because I was I joined him for a Krakenberg race towards the end of this same stream that you're watching, and we was just talking, and he was just like, why haven't you set up members or anything yet, or got the Discord going? And it's just one of them things. I'm such a bad procrastinator. I'll either do something the second I think of it, or I'll do something a couple of months after I think of it. There's no in between for me. It's been the same thing like throughout my entire life. I can either wake up one day completely clean everything, make everything immaculate, or I can sit there at night and be like, nah, that's a job for tomorrow, and then the next day, that's a job for tomorrow, and the next day, that's a job for tomorrow. I have no idea what it is. That's just me. I'm a big old procrastinator. But in terms of videos right now, I think things are going really well. I've been grinding for the last week or so in between Christmas and New Year. I probably won't be able to keep up the whole double upload thing every single day, purely on the basis of it does actually burn you out a little bit doing that much playing of bikes and recording it and rendering it and uploading it all the time. B, my brother's going to absolutely kill me if I keep making his ping go through the roof every time I upload a video while he's trying to play global games on CS. And C, you actually run out of content ideas after a while, which is always, I was having this conversation with Doc as well, it's about the whole people stealing content or kind of trying to reimagine a previous video, and there's a very fine line at the moment of taking a concept and adapting it and making your own, or just blatantly plagiarising something and copying someone's exact ideas. And in a game that's as small as this is, it's very hard to come up with them new ideas all the time. But I'm trying. I always sit down and try and have a little brainstorm here and there, but I still haven't fully worked out what does well and what doesn't do well, I can sit down and spend 4 or 5 hours on one video, you know, editing it all, putting it all together, and thinking, yeah, this video is gonna bang, and then it releases and it's just awful. And then the other way around, where it's like, oh crap, I need to rush and get a video ready for tomorrow. I've got 20 minutes, and you just bang it out in one go. And those are the ones that seem to do well, and it's so frustrating. I'm still learning, even after over a year and a half now. Still haven't got it all sorted out. So the big YouTube guys that manage to get hundreds of thousands of views every single video, that's never going to happen on MX Bikes, let's be honest. But just in general, I have no idea how they do it. They are wizards. They know how to play the game, that's for sure. I think it all stems from thumbnails, though, to be honest. I have no idea what this thumbnail's going to be. I'm going to have to try and take a screen grab from somewhere, or I think I took 1 or 2 pictures after one of the races. But I found one of the issues on bikes, especially the more people you get in a server, the harder it is to get screenshots, because you go into replay and it kind of zooms by really quickly, but it doesn't give you much time at all. But either way, at least the content's fun. The content's nice and enjoyable. And that's enough of my running. Let's actually go back to what this video's meant to be about, this elimination race. No idea what round we're in right now. We're quite a few deep. So the track itself is Paris Raceway, rated by GW. It's the free one rather than the one that's on MXB mods, the updated one. And front wheel going all over the place there. And it was actually 2 laps per race, so it's set up to be 1 lap. However, because the start is just after the finish line, the first lap round doesn't count. You have to go for 2, which actually helped me more than it hindered me throughout this. There was so many times where my front end would just knife, or I'd hit some death holes and be ejected, with no chance of saving it. Like right here, there's a death hole there, there's a death hole here coming into this right-hander as well, and you're just having to tiptoe your way around, which, being on a YZ125, very, very difficult to tiptoe around, because you need to be carrying all of your speed all the time. But views like this, where I've got 5, 6, 7 people in front of me all whipping and going side by side, it's so satisfying. I absolutely love it, and especially when you just hear the sound of 2-strokes everywhere. I did get very, very lucky that I didn't get wiped out by either of those bikes, but that's the name of the game. Sometimes Piboso blesses you, sometimes he ends your career early, and Breezy here in front of me, I was giving Breezy some crap in chat, because I don't know if I've got all of them in here, but the amount of times my front wheel got crossed over was unreal. But he said sorry there. It's all good, it's all cushy. And like I said, sometimes, especially when you're on a 125 and trying to go as fast as possible, sometimes the lines aren't choices. You just go where the bike takes you. And even at this point in the racing, I think I'm like 5 or so rounds deep at this point. I still didn't know what the fastest line was. So I was trying to go insides, outsides, even going as far as going inside of the inside ruts to try and find some smooth ground. Love this here. Basically 2 people in one corner, throw her sideways over the finish line. Well, almost finish line, second lap coming up. And it was just good fun. Everyone in the chat was like nice and in high spirits. And I do want to say, if you are subscribed to both of myself and ReaperDoc, when you're in a ReaperDoc live stream and I pop in just to say hello, please don't make the stream all about me and ask me all the questions. Just keep it to Reaper. He really does deserve it. He puts out some really good stuff, and he's a really lovely guy. And I can't emphasise that enough. But if you're on my stream and I'm streaming, feel free to ask me all the questions you want. But if I'm in somebody else's chat, please don't make it about me. Keep it on them. And it's a bit like, I can't. Actually, I can imagine. I know how like demoralising it is playing MX Bikes for 10+ hours straight. So he needed all the love and the support that you guys were giving. So it's really nice to see everyone coming together and just being really, really friendly and nice and helpful. See at the top left there, Doggo thinking Linz is going to win on a YZ125, buddy. I'm not too sure about that, but we'll keep going. We'll keep plugging away. There are, we've got one, so there's 9 people in this round right here. As you see me taking a cheeky little inside line, and I have no idea what happened with that crash. I'm not sure if that was some lag type thing going on or what. I know I was uploading a video at the same time that I was in this lobby, so I could well have been flickering all over people's screens. I have no idea, but it's just one of them things. Like, it happens, you're like, what has just happened to me? But it's a fun race at the end of the day. I wasn't trying to get too heated, too invested in it. Just here for a little bit of fun. We got old Halsey right here. Have a look at this over this jump. Thank God we both whipped the back end out to the right, otherwise that would have ended in tears. If I whipped the other way, then our back ends would have come together and would have absolutely wadded ourselves. But that's probably as close as it's going to get. I wish I could have seen that from a third-person perspective. Although he did say sorry at the end of the race, which I do appreciate. I always love people when they're respectful, and even if they do make a mistake, or I mean, it wasn't even necessarily a mistake on his behalf, but I've had it myself where I go and do something and I think, oh God, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And he said sorry, so lovely. And absolutely tossing her sideways, staying nice and low over the finish line there. I was very happy with myself. Like, battling with Hurls when he's on a significantly faster bike, I couldn't be unhappy with how I was playing. I knew that there were some parts of the track where I could kind of hold my own, mostly in the really tight, twisty bits. But as soon as we opened it up onto the long straights, like, he was gone. He was an absolute rocket. And I think at this stage it was like, I feel like Hurls is going to win this. I think he's definitely got the most speed on the track. Dylan's always a really, really fast rider on the 125s as well. Oh, I should probably start saying 125s, I'm sorry. But every time you've cringed when I said 125, it's just a UK thing. I'm sorry. It's just how it is. Different dialect exists. Please don't bully me in the comments down below. Found that that outside line was quite beneficial for me. Probably not for the other guys, because the KTMs and the Huskies can get up to speed a lot quicker after slowing down. But I kind of have to carry that speed everywhere, so that outside and being able to go triple single rather than going inside double double, it just sets me up for the whole next right-hander and the whole straight. So I think I took that basically every time after. Check out your boy, getting a whole shot on old Bluey. I was very happy. I think someone mentioned in the chat afterwards, like, how's he done that then? But it's as I said, from the first start to this start now, you slowly get better and better and better each time, and eventually you'll be pulling holes. You just have to try different things and kind of understand. So if I've started and the bike has obviously done a wheelie as soon as the gate's dropped, what can I do to combat that? I can try and give it a bit less throttle, but that might cause the bike to bog as I wad myself in a death hole. But what my technique ended up being is the second I went full throttle, sit down, lean forward, second gear. The second the gate dropped and I moved forwards maybe half a foot, I re-clutched. I basically just done a double clutch. This was my fault for this crash, by the way. I cut in way too early. I basically done a double clutch. If anybody's played GTA, you know what double clutching is. It kind of gives you a little bit of a speed boost. It doesn't give you a speed boost in this game, but what it does do is essentially it just resets the bike, gets the front wheel back down, and I find that the second time of letting the clutch out, it doesn't wheelie as hard. So that was my technique, and it seemed to be working. I was getting some pretty decent jumps out the gate towards the later stages. All kinds of sketchy. I don't think there was any time throughout any of these elims where I was like, yeah, I actually feel comfortable now. I think I could go and win this. I let in Hurls by on the inside. I think there's no point trying to like bang bars with him and risk going down. We got we got 5 people, sorry, in this one. So top 4 make it through. Well, I did manage to sneak back up the inside here, but he was very, very late on the brakes. Absolutely, it's really fun watching him ride and just seeing where he gains his time. It's not just like one thing that he's doing differently to everyone else, it's just a tiny bit everywhere, and that is always the best way. I thought I could sneak up the inside here again, but I thought I'd be nice and respectful rather than risk us all crashing, especially as I had, I think it's Sween Dog, right, on my arse at this point. You can see on the map at the top right, and Hurls eats some absolute booty cheeks. So then the entirety of the second lap, you don't see it because nothing really happens in front of me. I was just looking behind, trying to just see where Hurls was and seeing if he was going to get that 4th position, but it was not meant to be. He didn't quite make it up there, so I end up getting 3rd. Sween gets 2nd. Sween gets 4th, sorry. And here we go. We're now down to 4 riders only. Hurls was eliminated, so it is myself, Sween, Keegan, and Dylan. All very, very fast riders. All very stressful racing as well. An amazing start here. Clear track. The right-hand side of that jump is super, super low. I don't think anyone else is really taking it. But in typical Linz fashion, it wouldn't be an elimination race of mine if I didn't throw away a lead at some point, would it? Let's be honest. It happens in a little bit. I've just looked down at my timeline editing whilst I'm voicing over all this, and my cut isn't for a while. Where do I cut to? Come on. This is awkward now. Why have I left this much with me riding by myself left in? And now, here we go. So, through these rollers, I've got old Keegi Weegi right on my behind, very, very fast in his own right, trying to find some interesting lines. That one wasn't to be so. I've got more grip on the inside of my tyre than God knows what. I have no idea why it was tucking in so much. And then on this one, I go over the next berm. So 2 corners, 2 crashes, throws away the lead, and he ends up crossing the line in P3 because I'm absolutely washed. Now, 3 people left. It is myself, Dylan, and Keegan. I would be more than happy going out at this point. These are 2 very, very fast people that you should not be embarrassed to be beaten by whatsoever. especially being on the underpowered bike that I'm on. And guess what he does? He gets the health shot and he bloody throws it away again. We've skipped all the way to the last lap here because we all pushed so hard for these 2 laps and nobody was really making any mistakes other than me there again. But little spoiler before we cross the line, I didn't make it. This was the last round. I finished 3rd, which again on the Yami I'm more than happy with. It was a really fun race, and thank you again Reaper for letting me join in a little bit later than everybody else and restarting it for me. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you could drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new, I would greatly appreciate it. And let me know if you like these limbs. I'm more than happy to try and do some of my own at some point if it gets enough reception. But that'll do it from me. Catch you guys next time. Peace.